y'all, it's Kim from Kim Dixon Creative. I'm here with a project for the Not Too Shabby shop, and today I'm using the November box of the month, and it's called Holiday Sparkle. And at the time of recording this video, there are some still in stock. So you can head on over to Not2ShabbyShop.com, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. But you can head on over to the shop and pick up this box, and it is absolutely stunning. There are elements in there for Christmas, and it's the beautiful farmhouse look. I made a card a couple of weeks ago when we did our introductory hop for the box of the month, and today I'm using the New Year's portion of the box, and it is so pretty. The paper pack has kind of pinks and blacks and golds. There's a little silver in there. There's some faux glitter cardstock in there. And then the stamp set has some really great New Year's sentiments. And so I'm making a shaker card because what says Happy New Year like just confetti and just things kind of, I just feel that a shaker card is so festive and it's so perfect for a New Year's card. But enough of all that, let's get into making the card. So I have a just a regular A2, US A2 side folding card base, and we're going to make a landscape card. And I want to apologize right off. I didn't realize that my camera was I'm actually in too close and you can't see everything I'm doing, but you see most of what's going on, and I'll talk you through it. I picked a piece of cardstock out of the paper pack and just cut it down to 5 1/4 by 4, and then I took one of my circle dies and just cut a circle all the way through, because we're going to have a sentiment on the inside of our card that's going to show through the shaker portion of the card. Just carefully removing that tape. It's washi tape, but it's still, once you go through your embossing and die cutting machine, it presses it down pretty good, so it's firmly attached. So just be careful pulling that tape off. And I'm gonna save that little piece of tape because it's still good, and because I'm gonna use that die again in a little bit. So I've got that cut, and now I'm going to get all the fuzzies that got on my card off. But I'm going to just lightly trace that circle on the inside of my card so I can see where to stamp. You can barely even see it on screen. I could see it well enough. And so we're going to pull out my Misty and use the Misty because, guys, I can't stamp without a Misty. I'm not very good at free range stamping. I need that stamp positioner, so I use my Misty a lot. And we're going to get this stamp set open and choose a sentiment, and they're all so good. So I just kind of go through and lay down, each one to see which one I like the best. And I like that one there on the bottom. And it says New Year Wishes. So that's the one I'm going to end up using. Just going to take that off my stamp set there and get it lined up like I want it. And y'all, I eyeball most everything. I'm probably a little off on stuff if I measured, but most of the time I get pretty close when just eyeballing. Going to make sure that my card is down in the bottom corner well, and I'm going to use some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink for my sentiment. I love this ink for sentiments. It is so rich and so crisp, you very seldom ever have to double stamp it. Now I did this one, I think mainly because it was a new stamp and because those hearts are so so big that it took a little more ink than what I had originally put on. So I'm going to go ahead and get that stamped again and use my little tool that I made to rub across my MISTI. You can buy those in lots of places, but I just made one out of a furniture foot and a little felt pad. And then I'm going to take my mono sand eraser and erase that pencil mark on the inside. Once I do that with that mono sand eraser, you can't even see where there was a pencil mark at all. That mono sand eraser is so good for getting marks off your page. I have gotten light ink marks off my card before. So there's our card, and really, you know, it could be done right there, but I'm not done. So I cut a frame from my circle dies. I used the one I used to cut the hole, and then the next size up to cut this little frame. And I am out of my little plastic acetate sheets. I'll get it out in a second. I'm out of acetate. I realized that a couple of times ago when I made a card, and I forgot to get any, but that's okay. I have packaging, so I just cut 2 big circles of the bigger circles out of some packaging, and I'm going to glue the first one to the back of my frame. And I'm just going to get that lined up, and that's good. When I press down there, I'm pressing outward away from the inside of the circle so that if there is any glue runoff, it's going to go out and not into onto my plastic that's going to be visible. So now I'm going to take a length of double-sided sticky tape and fold it over on itself. It's easier to double up your layers like that. It's easier for me. And with this, I'm having to cut it in half. And so it's easier for me to cut in half that way too, when it's a little bit thicker. And when you've got release tape on the top and on the bottom. So I'm just going to go through and slice this in half, roughly, to go on my card, to pop up my little frame there. And then I can pull the release tape off. Anytime you're putting double-sided sticky tape, foam tape around a circle, if you take the release paper off, it's much easier to maneuver and manipulate that around the circle. That release tape is going to kind of keep it wanting to go straight. And so with this, with the release tape off, it's just foam, so it's not that hard to manipulate around a circle. And I don't know where my brain went off. I was trying to cut a piece that was long enough to go all the way around and not have any seams, but I didn't. But I don't have glitter in my mix. They're all pretty chunky pieces, so it's not gonna, I don't think we'll have any problem with any of it falling out. So finally get that last piece in there and maneuver my fingers off the sticky part. And I'm just going to put a few of these. These are iridescent sequins and stars. I'm not sure where they came from. They were in my stash, so who knows. Now, my trick for a shaker card is put another piece of plastic or acetate on the back, so you're not trying to put your card over top of the shaker pouch or, vice versa. And it's so much easier. And you can't tell it once you get it on the card. And so I'm going to go through. I didn't get that second circle on there just right, but that's okay. I got it on there good enough. I'm just going to trim off that excess plastic. and I have my shaker pouch done. And it shakes pretty well. I did pick an alternate pattern for my frame just to have a little bit of different interest. So now I'm going to just glue this shaker pouch onto the front of my card. And because we have that opening there, it's going to make it pretty easy to get it centered up where we need it to go. And because it's that plastic that we're gluing down, I have a little more wiggle room because it'll take it a little bit longer to dry. But I got it on there like I want it. Now I want to decorate a little bit. And so I pulled out some of the ephemera, and I'm going to adhere these balloons to the front. And I've already adhered the 2023 there at the bottom of my shaker pouch. There's some really great ephemera in this pack. You don't have to know how to or like to color to make some really great cards with this box, or any subscription box that you can get from Jamie. They're all wonderful. So I love the way the front turned out. Let's add a little more to the inside. So I'm going to put this cluster of balloons right there to the right. I think that's all I'm going to, as far as ephemera, that's all I'm going to put on the inside. And it does, there's a little corner of it that shows on the front, but not enough to really tell. And then I have a little scrap of the paper that I used on the front. I'm just going to cut a little flag end piece and glue it to the left side of our sentiment. Just gonna, not being specific, just eyeballing where I want it. Cut a slit in the bottom, in the middle, up a little ways, and then go from corner to the middle on each side to get your flag ends. That is the easy, unless you have a punch, that is the easiest way to get a good banner end on a piece of card stock. And so I'm just going to glue that there to the left side. And move everything out so you can kind of see I'm a messy crafter. And that's our card. And the shaker action is good. There's plenty of room in the pouch for those shaker bits to shake, and you have a great New Year's card. Hey guys, thanks for spending some time with me today, and I hope you enjoyed this New Year's wishes card. I hope that it inspires you to create. I hope it inspires you to head on over to Jamie's shop and pick up this box because it is fabulous. And when you're over there, check out some of the other stuff that she has in the shop. It's wonderful. I mean, she just really keeps her shop stock full of some of the greatest and best stamps and dies and tools. So head on over there and check it out. I've left a link in the description box below. So thanks again for stopping by, and I'm going to leave this here that's got a couple of videos that I'd love for you to check out. Bye!